Okay, we got some minutes in this one, and yeah, I'm about to write an article regarding yeah one of the best privacy articles and magazines that exist, and funny enough, the co-founder and chief editor of it is my friend and one of the greatest privacy lawyers in Europe that I keep repeating in every single video because not everyone watches every video. These days, no one watches any video, but I'm front loading the documentation for everything. And yeah, the repetition itself is a kind of identity rehearsal, but at the same time, it's like boring as well. So, best case scenario is that I'm just strengthening the identity of the person that I am, and so far has worked wonderfully because the more I believe I am who I say I am, the more I show that, and the more I show that, the more people are gonna believe that I am who I say I am, and the more they believe, the more they are preview to the work, and the more the work is kind of getting exposure, the more these opportunities come my way. It's just such a fascinating evolution of past 2 years that the moment I started asking this question that why not me, as soon as mm, my masters was over and I was starting to get rejected all of them from all of the places. I said, okay, there are 8 billion people on the planet, and eventually one of them is gonna be the richest person on planet, and eventually one of them is gonna be the most famous. Eventually one of them is gonna be the most. So there is a every bracket and every sub bracket of every kind of person is kind of leading to the same conclusion that it doesn't matter how many people exist. It doesn't matter how many the competition is. If you start a match, if you start a World Cup, as it is going these days, no matter what happens, one team is gonna be the winner. And this seems quite obvious, but it's a very kind of underrated fact that it's inevitability of a winner, and the inevitability of the winner then gives you this kind of a question that why not you? Why um I just asked this question that I've been writing for 18 years, and I was always bothered by a couple of writers such as Dostoevsky, Kafka. I hate that guy so bad. Nietzsche and all of these people, and I was bothered by a couple of their ideas that didn't actually sit well with me. And I had my own arguments with them because I was literally sitting in an empty room surrounded by Dostoevsky, by all of these people in a debate that, hey, why did you kill the second broker to show Raskolnikov is plain bad? Because the moral kind of ambiguity you couldn't sit with, and you paid the price for it because that anxiety is my theory that kept eating at him all his life, that he couldn't commit to being Raskolnikov with moral kind of ambiguity, and he had to make him clearly wrong. But it would have been a better argument and a story if Raskolnikov, for instance, and I read the Crime and Punishment when I was 17, and it's been bothering me ever since that why Raskolnikov just doesn't go and kill the broker and that's it. he still can go through all of the stages of grief and whatever. But the second murder is just like you killed someone that you justified being a kind of overman or ubermensch, and superior to, and you had justified the killing, and now you are getting the backlash of that murder. That would have been a very kind of great ambiguous story to say, okay, I did kill this person, but I could justify it based on my own philosophy. And although I'm logically and intellectually justifying that correctly, I still cannot emotionally bear the kind of the control of taking another life and having control over a whole another existence that I shifted the direction of and cut it short. That kind of conversation would have been more interesting to me as a reader, at least, rather than, okay, I killed someone I could justify for, and I killed someone who wasn't supposed to be there, was there, and oh, shit happens. So because you can never kind of see where your ideas take you, so that idea is buried. That's the part that I have a problem, and I have had a problem with Dostoevsky. The same thing goes with Kafka. His whole kind of ideology is that his dad kept telling him he was nothing, he was an insect, he was worthless, and he literally made it into a book and said, yes, I am worthless. And that's quite interesting to me because and now he's being gigantified by his kind of insecthood, basically. And that's kind of bothers me as well because um, the worst thing that can happen by believing in yourself is that you're gonna die with the delusion that you mattered. For Kafka, it was literally the opposite effect, that he believed he was a nobody, he was a failure of a life, and he died, and now he's being worshipped to death and back. But the idea that I have is like, okay, you believe in yourself, you do whatever the fuck you want to do, you lose some, you gain some, and at least while you're dying, you're satisfied that you did everything, because there is this consistency of research having been done to people in their 90s, in their 70s, at their death's door, and there is not a single person saying, I told people to fuck off. I told people this. I told people that. I did this and it failed. I did. No, most of them, if not all of them, is that I didn't do this. I didn't do enough. I didn't risk enough. And this is just a fascinating idea that it keeps repeating, that if this is the constant kind of only failure of a lifetime, why the fuck more people don't do more? So I started asking this question 2 years ago from myself, that why not me? If the winner is inevitable, why not me? Why not I start believing in winning myself? And that idea, repeated enough times in your mind and in your actual behavior, gives you this kind of force field of energy that you don't defer to authority, you don't beg people, you don't kind of bend the knee to people for bare minimum. And this gets you the respect of people. And because you don't actually care about what people think about you, but you just are looking for the proof of your own work and your own craft, to prove to yourself that the story that you're telling yourself has some substance to it, you just keep going. You don't. You just stop measuring yourself against others. And what happened to me was that I started reaching out to people out of my league. Bestsellers, philosophers, lawyers, governmental figures, all of them. And now, 2 years forward, I'm starting to write a kind of an article for one of the greatest magazines in my actual space, that was offered to me as a favor by a friend of mine who values my ideas so much that amidst thousands of people he knows in government, uh, in his 30 years of career, in his own firm, in his all of the surrounding people, he picked me. Sure, it could be as a test of, okay, if my idea is gonna land well with the audience and with the publishers, maybe they don't actually even publish the things I'm writing. But all of that happened because of one question, that why not me? And now that I'm having the stress of writing the article, thinking about, okay, what if I lose this relationship with this friend who has advised presidents and governmental figures on this specific kind of thing? What if I lose the credibility and credentials that I have in his mind? What if I don't get published? What if I fuck this up? What if I this, that? But now that I'm making this video, and I'm making this video to get this kind of tension inside my actual system, um, and basically put it out there, because and this is gonna serve as a document when um, there is gonna be the inevitable win and the inevitable accomplishments in my life, and that these are gonna be the retrospect building genius of the whole thing. But my question is exactly this, that the same ideas that I wrote 2 years ago, and my writing was submitted to Paris Review by philosophers, bestsellers, comparing me to Dostoevsky, my writing to Nietzsche, to philosophers, whatever. In the span of 2 years, having predicted the whole digital landscape of Europe with my control-based sovereignty model of actual data governance, and all of that 2 years ago, when I was a nobody to nobody, at least I'm a somebody to somebodies these days at least, the same mind and the same kind of actual belief that got me these kind of people is gonna fail me. That's the fun thing, because even if I fail this magazine, if I fail all of this, I'm still gonna be writing. I'm still gonna be making moves. Even today, I woke up excited with this idea that I heard yesterday Trump say that um, yeah, I hope you remember me because of the assassination and whatever going on. And that fascinated me quite a lot, because he is gonna be inevitably remembered in the history of United States presidential category and catalog. So his name is gonna be remembered and taught in schools at least for the next 50 to 100 years. But this person still has, you could say, insecurity or existential angst, or just being kind of cheeky about the whole thing. Yeah, that of course you're gonna remember me because I'm a two times president of one of the kind of most powerful nations on the planet in this stretch of history. It's literally like not remembering who Genghis Khan was or who Alexander was. But the deeper question to me was, okay, um why do people actually why like people actually care about death and care about whatever? Because death for me is a solved issue in a couple of regards that I'm not gonna go into, at least in this video. But my question is that yeah, but there are so many people, And this has been my obsession with numbers, that why there is like 8 billion people on the planet. Earth, or any kind of whatever experiment a god or whatever is running, doesn't need 8 billion people. It just needs thousands, or maybe 10 million, or million, 1 million. Because 10 billion or 8 billion or even 1 billion of anything has the most amount of discrepancy between the first one and the 1 billionth one, that the hierarchy is gonna be kind of disproportionately misfavored, if that's even a word, in the comparison. You're gonna have the first trillionaires in history, and then you're gonna have millions of people starving to death every single day. Not every single day, millions, but every single year. So this disproportionality of resource allocation comes from the number itself. And I literally launched this campaign on my LinkedIn and my X, the fucking Twitter, and I just said, yeah, I'm starting a campaign to get one euros per person to fund this idea of allocating my next 10 years of doing deep research on why there is 8 billion people on the planet, why there isn't less, why there isn't more. Because the number itself, sure, you could say, okay, people fuck, and they literally produce people, they produce children, and that's the inevitable kind of outcome of it. But my core question is that why people fuck this much then? Why people have this kind of, because everything has a reason. And this is my lifelong kind of project running on my subconscious as well, that what produces excellence. Because I've read so many people who are great in history, and at least what I'm landing on as of now is that it's the congruency. The story that you tell yourself over and over and over again, and you are literally ravenous to find results congruent to that kind of self-belief, so you don't have this kind of cognitive dissonance in your mind, in your neural kind of wiring, and you just become it. And sure, this is kind of very biased opinion, and it has like survival bias, because you only see the Napoleons who became Napoleon rather than Napoleons who did not become Napoleon. You have timing, you have luck, you have whatever, that I don't actually believe they exist, because it's unfalsifiable both ways. If you had Napoleons, exact Napoleons, then that didn't get the timing, that didn't get the opportunity, that didn't get the luck, you cannot prove it, because they didn't become Napoleon. And if there were Napoleons who didn't make it, you cannot actually test if their Napoleonness was enough to match Napoleon himself. That's the problem with it. But from the loose kind of observation across history, Napoleon wanted to be as infamous or as famous in history as Julius Caesar, and the same thing happened with Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky wanted to be, and he literally self-proclaimed as the Russian prophet. That is literally being worshipped as these days. The same thing happened with Picasso. Picasso wanted to be the better Raphael. He is more famous than Raphael these days, at least. But there is the opposite kind of thing as well. Kafka didn't want to be famous. Nietzsche didn't want to be famous. He couldn't even conceive of becoming famous, because the guy didn't even fuck a pussy his whole life. He literally went to a prostitute, and that's it. His love of life was Salome, or whatever the girl was, and he lost it through a confession through his friend, that the friend literally ended up with Salome anyways. So, but he is the most prominent whatever these days, philosopher of the 21st century these days. So the question is that what determines a life and what determines excellence? And the answer that I can come up with at 26 from my own lived experience of last 2 years, sure, it could be timing, could be compound effect, could be luck, could be positioning, could be all of that. But the coincidental alignment of this luck, this whatever, with the moment I started saying, okay, why not me? It is just too staggering to me that ever since in the 2 years I've been invited to Brussels by a parliament's member based on my own framework that I literally made out of thin air. My thesis predicted 2 years ahead of the global kind of sovereignty problem regarding data, AI, and all of the digital governance that is trending these days. I've been literally praised to oblivion and back by bestsellers, philosophers, whatever, who wouldn't even know of me if I didn't ask a question. Ask the question. I've been literally introduced to CEOs, magic circle firms, policymakers, governmental figures, people who are literally making maybe like at least three of them of my ongoing conversations are literally making the next generations kind of unicorns, not in a startup but in actual governmental influence aspect of things. There is W Social that if it succeeds, it's gonna literally replace Twitter in 5 or 10 years. That I don't actually think it's gonna succeed anyways. But there is like another model of governance that is the sovereign core of IBM. There is the Department of Defense that is in talks with me regarding couple of my own ideas. And all of this in 2 years at 26 in a foreign country with your own business starting from scratch with all of the systematic kind of racism and the systematic kind of bias towards being an Iranian in Netherlands and being 26 years old who thinks he is like historically significant. That kind of energy repels some kind of people and it attracts others. And all of that started from one question that why not me? Because this is the system that I'm running these days. That I'm asking every single day that there's a World Cup going on now. One team is gonna win. France, Spain, it doesn't fucking matter. The win is the guarantee. The winner is inevitable. So the next question is why not me? Why self-select out of it? The same thing happened when I was dating in a foreign country as well. I started going to people and saying, "Hey, you look cute. Cute. I want to like get to know you more. I want to like understand why I'm excited in you other than your looks because there are plenty good looks out there." Some said no, some said yes, some turned out to be great, very great memories. And it's just I asked the question. I cold emailed philosophers, bestsellers, and now I'm best friends with some of them. This is the thing that keeps happening in my life. That it's the same question wearing a different kind of skin. That there is only one winner. There is every kind of competition, every kind of ranking you could have. You could literally say, okay, there is someone who has fucked the most amount of pussy on the planet in history. There's gonna be one person. There's gonna be one person who is gonna be the most sold artist in history. There's gonna be someone. There is a most in anything. There's a most in every niche. The first in every niche. So when the win is inevitable by structure, by nature, and by the actual framework of it, no matter what the fuck is gonna happen, someone is gonna win the World Cup. So when that win is the guarantee, why not you? Why not me? Because the worst case scenario, the worst case scenario is gonna be, I'm gonna believe in my excellence till I die, till I'm 90 and I die, and I still believe that, hey, even if I stop literally today, which is literally impossible based on who I am, if I stop today, I go work a normal job, forget all of my connections from governmental figures, my ongoing clients, my invitation to speak here, right there, my compulsion to actually not be able to fucking breathe for 3 days if I don't write, all of that. If I literally stop today, I'm still gonna die at 90 years old, believing that after I die, something I wrote when I was 25, 26 years old is gonna resurface after my death, and it's gonna keep my name alive. That kind of belief, and that's the bare minimum, not even bare minimum, that's a bare minimum of facing existence, is that I've already done disproportionately too much compared to people who live a full 90 years of life and are nobodies, and they believe they are nobodies, and they die believing they are nobodies, and they stay nobodies after death. So my question is that, why not? Because from every aspect of everything that I know, is that there's a quote that I heard once that is kind of funny to me. Life is always your next move. It doesn't mean that your previous moves don't matter, but it means that always your next move is gonna be the compounding effect of your previous moves that you can start today. And for me now, like being stressed about the article about like saving face and not losing the contact that I wasn't even supposed to be having in even my entire existence, because you need to understand this, whoever is watching this, and even my future self, which is not gonna have the opportunity even to watch these videos. I was born in Iran, in a very kind of limited city, not even like the countryside, but it was a very kind of small city. I made it to the biggest city in Iran, got a degree out of that, then came to Netherlands, got one of the most recognized degrees in my actual niche from Leiden University, and that's like that's still like a couple of millions of people on the planet. Go to a foreign country, get a good degree, and that's it. Go live a normal life. But after that, even just in 2 years, I've been invited to European Parliament by a Parliament member based on my own framework. Literally, my thinking turned into a one-pager, got that invitation. Being friends, not even friends, being at least in the orbit of, I can literally message a couple of bestsellers now and get a under 5 minutes response out of them. Not even praise, not the doors they open, not, I was sticking with the bare minimum to actually tell myself how disproportionately out of like a luck, out of kind of destiny, whatever bullshit it is. Because someone like me, every single person in the exact rooms that I have been in the past, uh, like 20 years of my life, bar the even like 300 people who went to the same kind of school with me, or the same people who went into the, even my fucking professors at Leiden, they haven't never actually held that kind of conversation with simultaneously government of Japan, Canada, Department of Defense of USA, all of that. And none of them have reached that from the position of being better placed. But somehow this random Iranian kid, 26 years old, has done it by 26, and he feels, delusion or not, that this isn't even the start of the story yet. And this is just so fascinating to me that still I have this kind of anxiety of writing a 2,000, 3,000 word article, because I'm kind of bothered by simplifying my thinking to professional kind of privacy professionals in this famous magazine, because I don't want to lose the friendship, or I don't want to look bad in front of people who are 50 years old writing the same articles. And this is just so baffling to me that nothing is gonna change. I remember I was literally introed to this guy's, and this is the fascinating part of things. I was introed to Eduardo's firm. He's literally the greatest lawyer they have in the whole firm. And then I go to the greatest lawyers in the privacy space in the Netherlands, and they both bless me, and the HR or the council or whatever that rejects me. Yes, I got sad, because that would be the greatest kind of tangible asset for me, to have the best, one of the best privacy firms, Magic Circle, on my resume. But what I did next is just more fascinating to me. The next day, not even the next week, the next day, I found my first full-time client after 6 months of being in the space. Now, this doesn't, let's say, I'm revealing more information because we're 30 minutes into the video and no one is gonna watch this, at least today. And if they watch it, they're not gonna know what the fuck is going on, anyways. But this is what fascinates me the most. That I write this article, it doesn't get published. It's bad. It's horrendous. It's terrible. I'm gonna write again tomorrow. I'm gonna write again, because that's the mentality that I'm cultivating these days. Not to fall in love with the progress, or the what the fuck they call it, like being not afraid of failure. No, it's like that. We have, the way I'm seeing it is that I have daily participation in World Cup. Today I get disqualified in the kind of group stage. Tomorrow I get to participate again. Tomorrow I make it to the semifinals. Okay. The next day. Every single day is a World Cup. And the only anchor of that is that every single day has a winner. If I'm not winning today, doesn't mean I'm not good enough, I'm not bad enough. No, it's not tied to my worth. Is that today someone else won, tomorrow there's a possibility of me winning. The next day. And all of this is going to compile, because the goals I score today are not going to disappear tomorrow. Sure, I'm not going to have the World Cup today, but the goals that I'm scoring is going to compound. tomorrow I'm gonna score more goals. Third day I'm gonna score more goals. It's the daily World Cup for me. That today you win, tomorrow you win. This is what this is very important as a mindset. At least I haven't figured out a better mindset up to today. That the only way that you lose is that there is no winner. Winning is not possible. You go into a World Cup and no one wins. There's a rule that says if teams don't score 5 goals in the final, both teams lose. No one wins the World Cup. But no, that's not how it works. In everything in life, in every single domain in life, everything is relative. And because it is relative, you can always get to the threshold and every single day has a winner. Because there's a problem if you say, okay, you didn't score five goals in the finals and there's no winner. So you can try tomorrow and you still are not gonna win anything. This is the same thing as if you're not winning and someone else is winning. But the problem with that is the winners have a pattern. You identify the pattern and you win. But if you go inside of a game that for 5 World Cup straight, no one is scoring 5 goals in the finals, and no one is winning, you cannot identify what makes a winner. But when you are certain that there's a winner every single day, in every single domain, you study them, you learn from them, you exist in their environments, you breathe the air that they are breathing, and that gives you the winner mentality. Because that's the thing, that's the bare minimum basically that I'm relying on, that there's always a winner, and the inevitability of winning is the only thing to push forward with. Because the bare minimum is gonna be, as I said, I stop today, I say, okay, I'm not handing in the article, I'm done, and nothing I've done has turned to anything, and I'm still gonna have this kind of subconscious belief of that, okay, maybe something I did in the past is gonna resurface someday, because I have done a lot of things. But not many people can say that, because the story they tell themselves is that I'm a failure. I'm not gonna be special. There are 8 billion people, and why am I gonna be better than 8 billion? That's a statistical anomaly and all of that. And that does a very interesting math, that instead of turning the 8 billion against you, turns the 8 billion in favor of you, because so many people are self-selecting out of it. It's literally as if there's a room and there's a lady waiting in the room, and they say, okay, if you enter this room, 5 people are gonna be selected to sleep with this lady, who's the greatest, most gorgeous lady on the planet. How many people are gonna show up? You would think millions of people would try their chances at this. No. Millions of people are gonna self-select out of this, because they're gonna say, okay, 5 people out of millions, if not billions, I'm not gonna waste my time. So every I'm not gonna waste my time turns into a less kind of competitor. So when you show up, there are a couple of thousands of people waiting, and 5 of them are gonna be selected. Every single 5 of them has 10 times, 100,000 times more chances, because of the self-selecting out of the equation of other people. Even in dating, I've seen this. Whenever I go to a person and I say, "Hey, I like you. You're cute, and I want to get to know you more." Most of the time, they have never had this experience ever in their lives. And based on that surprise alone, they give the number, they go on an instant date, and they're just curious, what is this audacity coming from? Because this is not normal. And that's the power of actual numbers, because that's a numbers game that is being played in your mind against you, and in reality, actually in your favor. But yeah, I have an article to write, and we're gonna see where it goes.